right after in Massachusetts, right, Governor Baker changed a lot of the regulations around masks, right? You know, so the CDC kind of sent out some information a couple weeks ago, right? Now the state of Massachusetts changed things a lot, right? So masks are not. I actually walked into this building today, outside the building, with no masks on, right? We don't have to wear masks outside if you're vaccinated, right?
But you know, we have to wear a mask in the office.
Yep.
We have to wear a mask in the hospital.
Yep.
So I feel obligated to wear. I mean, I think I should wear a mask all the time. I mean, I had COVID. I've been vaccinated. But if I have to work in my office and in the hospital for hours on end, it doesn't make sense to me that I should walk around without mask.
Well, inside. So these are like the changes in the guidelines.
Right, but I'm just saying I should still be careful because
100% in your office, in the hospital, 100% we still wear masks. Yeah.
But since I have to be in that environment, I have to interact with other people. I think I should still be cautious. Is the point I'm making?
Yep.
So I should still wear a mask.
Do you wear a mask outside?
Yeah.
You do.
I mean, if I'm in a park, there's no one around with my kids.
Yeah.
I haven't been.
Yeah.
But yesterday I was having dinner with my kids in Cambridge, and of course in Cambridge there's no parking space anywhere. I parked by the Cambridge City Hospital, right in front, actually next door to Spalding. From there I went to Olay.
Nice.
Long walk.
Great restaurant.
And I wore a mask because I'm going to run into people. But I feel obligated because the reason is we still don't know, right? I mean, I read about Moderna and maybe they're trying to scare people because they want to make more money, how their information release was alarming, that variants are coming, it may be more virulent, and that it's not when, but we'll definitely need booster. So I feel like regardless of what Governor Baker says, I think at least for me, I have to wear a mask. How do you feel?
It's a great question. And so I'm on the board of health in my town of Lexington. And it's always interesting conversations. And I think that there's different approaches and different perspectives, whether you're like a public health person or a physician or a non-physician. So I myself feel extremely comfortable now being vaccinated, being outside, not in a crowd. Like I wouldn't go to a music festival right now without a mask, but being outside without, not in a crowd without a mask on, because everybody threw a lot of shade at the CDC for coming out saying, you don't need masks anymore outside, and they changed things on a dime. I don't fault them for that at all. They just didn't do a great job in terms of giving the hows and the whys, because I think the data is pretty supportive that even, the transmission rate of being outside of COVID is pretty low. Then you add on to that, vaccination if you are vaccinated. So it does fall upon people to me who aren't vaccinated, but I feel comfortable if I was on the street running on the bike path by someone who wasn't vaccinated that I have a pretty low risk. I'm assuming that risk, but I think it's pretty low. Like I wouldn't go to a movie theater right now without a mask on. I think that we should.
How are you going to eat popcorn? Or drinks.
Well, that's the thing. Well, you can go to I call it the Boston Garden still. You can go to the TD Bank Garden, right, to watch the Celtics. You have to wear a mask, but you can pull your mask down to eat and drink. So if you've been to one of those games, most people aren't gonna have a mask on for most of the time if they're over 21. But yeah, so I would feel very comfortable going to a restaurant right now, like you did, if it without a mask. As long, even indoors, as long as it was still spaced out.
Yeah.
Like if they go back to the old crowding people in, I wouldn't feel comfortable with that probably even, with my mask on and off during the time, because you're going to have it off most of the time. But I think outside, no mask on, I'm very comfortable with,
So we were talking about, there was a video that you had sent me about school, right?
Yeah.
In Malden,
Yeah.
where a lot of parents were asking to have masks removed. Only thing I would say about that is, I get it. Parents are wanting their kids to be more like normal, but it's not the school officials. They're doing their best, right? I mean, we're really dealing with less than perfect data, and they're going by recommendation from above.
Yeah.
But the hostility, gee, money cricket.
I could talk about this for a long time because I've been on both sides of it, and I think, it's just not so cut and dry. Like, just because you may not wear a mask outside if you've been vaccinated doesn't, you just can't start extrapolating to everything. And yeah, I watched that video. It was a bunch of parents who basically, marched on City Hall in Malden and had some demands, that masks shouldn't be worn inside for school next year, for upcoming, that they shouldn't be doing COVID testing. I think they also COVID testing in the school. There should be social distance in the school. So the seats should all be close together again. And one other thing they mentioned is you can't talk about getting the vaccination in school. Like, teachers couldn't say, "Hey, have you got your vaccination?" or "You should get the COVID vaccine." So I think you can break this down a lot, and I think that people need to focus on what's really important right now. Marching on City Hall to demand no masks in school is a little bit over the top. The bigger thing is to worry about right now, and things could change in 3 months, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? So unfortunately, they talk about the variants. This thing could spike again, and we could all be, social distanced, with masks or not in school, which I hope isn't the case. But I think, one quick thing is I'm guessing that we're still going to be wearing masks in school. And although the school transmission was really low, like in the towns that I serve, and being aware of kids who tested positive, and people who were contacts of someone who tested positive, which was usually outside the school when it happened, there was no in-school transmission in the classrooms. And I think I'm pretty comfortable saying there was no transmission. But that was with masks and good hygiene and being distanced. But I think that as we go into the fall and the flu picks up again and COVID's still circulating, and kids aren't all going to be vaccinated yet, and some kids won't be vaccinated. And teachers, although they're vaccinated, are still going to be wary. I think wearing masks in school is a very good idea if you want to stay in school, because all we need is a spike of something.
Yeah.
So, but I think along your point is people got to focus on some different things. Let's just be happy. If my daughter who's 9 years old, had to wear 4 masks to get back into school, put the mask on because she really wanted to be back in school.